A lot of times we gasbag about football, and Greg Cody of the Miami Herald has covered football for a long time, many, many years from print journalism. But I don't think I betray you when I say you don't really know football. Like I don't know football. We don't know football. The point, my larger point is the great majority of media covering football don't know what the hell they're watching. Like we're seeing the results and stuff and taking very bare minimums, but schemes and stuff, we're not experts like that. We can look through the math. Cody doesn't want to do that either. But even that doesn't tell us, hey, did that guard play well in that game?
Well, yeah, I was about to mention that when I watch a football game like 99% of fans do, which is I'm following the ball. I'm watching the quarterback and whether he throws or hands off. I cannot tell you the last time I analyzed the play of a center.
It's no indictment of, it's just the difference between media and some of the people. You see what's happening at ESPN, right? They're hiring athletes and they're extending the athletes, and some of them are very good at talking and doing television. But this particular guy that we're bringing on, I'm super thrilled that he's gotten a space in this space, because he is so smart about this, and you could learn so much just listening, because he's watching a different game than you are. When he's watching football, you and he are not seeing the same things. He has a clarity about this, and so I'm just thrilled, Chris, that you've had this success and that you've found this post-career, because you're excellent at teaching us about football when you analyze it. And we were talking about Julio Jones and stuff, and I don't know how to analyze it. Like if I'm a team, I'd want Julio Jones, period. I'd give up a first round pick. It's one of the best athletic things I've ever seen. I'd risk injury. It's not about star power. It's just, I've never seen a dude bend a game like that, or I haven't seen very many who can do that. So why doesn't, and thank you for being on with us, but why doesn't Julio Jones command from somebody like, yes, of course I'll give a king's ransom. I believe that if you stay healthy, you will help me chase the Chiefs, because the Chiefs don't even have at wide receiver someone exactly like you.
Right. And listen, I'm like you. I'm a little surprised there wasn't maybe a little bit more of an aggressive approach to the Julio Jones trade and everything like that. And second, I want to do first off, say thanks. And Dan, I'd never be in this spot I am in if it wasn't for you and Stugotz. I got to say that, with the Chris Sims top 70 quarterback countdown and you guys paying me $1 million per every time I showed up. It was big for my career. But no, seriously, thank you for that. But to get to the football stuff with Julio Jones, I think there's a few things here. I'm with you. He's a superstar. I think he's one of the 5 greatest wide receivers in the history of football. He's a difference maker. But I think the 2 things that probably scare people or teams away the most from going all in on Julio Jones is he's kind of been on a load management type of schedule as far as an NFL player is concerned for the last few years. I mean, again, I know he hasn't missed a ton of games. He missed the games last year. But I think you guys have been paying attention enough to know for about the last 5 or 6 years, we go into every Sunday with Julio Jones being questionable on a Friday. He doesn't practice a lot during the week, those type of things. So I think there is that concern. And I think the biggest concern really that scares teams is the fact that, yes, we trade for Julio, Dan, but now he has a big year. And now he wants a new contract, and he wants a DeAndre Hopkins type contract. And I think that's those 2 elements, along with the timing of the trade, I think all added to a little bit of a lackluster compensation package for the Falcons.
Given that eventuality that it might be for just a year, and I think you need to chase the Chiefs. I mean, it's a hard sport. You never know what's going to happen. If you can chase them 1 year, you need to chase them. The most that Chris Sims would give up for a healthy year of Julio Jones. Let's see if this works. If this can be better than Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a team at the end of the first round, or a team that I looked at, we're going to be at the end of the first round because we're really good and we're in the Super Bowl window, I would have no doubt about it, thought about it. Like if I'm the Green Bay Packers, I would have. I mean, again, we know the injustices they've done to Aaron Rodgers throughout his career with lack of top-end, big-time talent. And they're one of those teams where I think the reason they're in this situation is they never go all in. They never push the chips into the middle of the table and go, let's do it. Let's make this big splash, type of move. I think by watching film, the specimen of the athlete, the fact that he does find a way, even though banged up, to play on a week-to-week basis, and I know last year he missed those games, yeah, I would have been comfortable with if I'm a top quality team giving away an end of the first round type of pick. I would have.
Chris, because of their style, it's going to sound crazy, right? We're talking about one of the best wide receivers of all time, but because they already have a number one, because they run the ball with Derrick Henry 400 times a game, they're really a running team. Are they any closer to winning a Super Bowl today?
I think so. I think it's the perfect formula for the way they want to play football. They are, first off, like the stigma around Ryan Tannehill, right? I know people don't think he's the greatest thing ever. He's got a really good arm, and he's one of the best down the field passers in the game. The stats verify that. My eye verifies that when I watch them. They don't throw screens or little short passes and expect their receivers to do that type of stuff. So like Stugotz, think about it this way. Think about the bind they're going to be able to put you in, right? We're talking about a running game that's like almost like Emmitt Smith and the Cowboys in the mid-90s. They can impose their will on you on a week-to-week basis, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, you want to bring these safeties in the box to stop the run, and we need extra guys. Man, you're going to think twice about that now, leaving Julio Jones and A.J. Brown on the outside, man-to-man. You know, that's where I think it's unique in the fact that a lot of the times these type of offenses, we see one receiver who's really special, and then the other guy's just good, not great, not a special guy. You legitimately here have two guys that defenses will go, wait, I'd like to double both of them on this play or put a safety on top of both of them. Yeah, well, good luck. Now you're outnumbered in the run game, and it's the best running back in football, too. So I really like the move. I thought it was perfect. And they're one of those teams that was like on the edge of the Super Bowl window. We know they're a playoff contender, but John Robinson, unlike the Packers, went, the hell with it. The time is now to strike. I'm going all in. And I thought it was the appropriate move for the way they play and their team, what they need right now.
Chris, you alluded to this, but I'd like you to expand on it a little bit because it seems to me that what the Titans have done is make life easier for their great running back. And now it seems as if he's going to be more efficient carrying the ball fewer times.
I think so. They certainly have made you – they're going to make defenses have to make some really important decisions or be creative or take them out of their comfort zone. But to me, the move is about playing and protecting their bread and butter. And that is Derrick Henry in the run game. And think about also, right, it's Mike Vrabel. He grew up in the Belichick. The first 3 Super Bowls, we play defense, we run the ball, control the clock, our quarterback's efficient and make some big plays. And I think that's the style of play they want to do. They improved their defense in free agency with the Bud Duprees and the Danico Autry. They got Janoris Jenkins, Caleb Farley in the first round. So I think the defense will be better. And now he's got an offense that can maybe match that style of play. It's complementary football. And I think that's where it makes sense for Tennessee. And I do think it's going to make Derrick Henry a lot more efficient for sure.
Tell me if I'm being an idiot on this, as the Aaron Rodgers holdout now becomes a bigger thing because he's losing money and the mess becomes larger. And they didn't figure out how to fix this before the mess because now he's missing mandatory stuff. If you are the Packers and you are indeed desperate to make sure that Aaron Rodgers comes back, why wouldn't you give up more than the Titans just did to get Julio Jones?
Because first off, they have cap issues, I think, a little bit. That's probably what scares them. And then, you know, it's just not in their MO. They're like, all right, so there's a few things here. It's a good question, Dan. I mean, I don't know. Again, I wouldn't have drafted Jordan Love, and the two drafts ago, I would have gone all in then. Wait, we have one of the 5 best players in football at quarterback. We were 13-3. We went to the NFC Championship. It makes no sense what they did. Not at all. So I don't have a good reason for you there other than that I think it's a salary cap issue, and then they're maybe not sure about their future and where they want to go. You know, the Rodgers thing, it can go either way. They could go, well, Rodgers might not be here, so I don't know, maybe we don't want to deal with the Julio thing too. But also you could say, well, it could be Love taking over, and this is the best way to support Love. If you want that to work out, you could have a guy like Julio maybe be there to help him out. You know, it could have gone both ways. It's just an organization that kind of sticks to a formula. Like, I respect their formula, Dan, right? They've been relevant for the last 25 years in the NFL, and it's made them a real playoff contender. But what I would also argue is, okay, yeah, the formula is good, but is it, when I put it in this terms, is it that good? You had two of the 5 greatest quarterbacks in the history of football quarterbacking your team over the last 25 years, and you've only got 2 Super Bowls to show for it. So that to me shows like the formula is good, but you got to have a feel for the temperature of the room to go, okay, now it's time to abandon the formula and let's go for it. Here's the time. And that's where the Packers just seem unwilling to do that as far as the way they work.
Chris, I'm going to ask the question again a different way because I want it out in front of everybody, because this franchise might be confused that they're the reason they've been successful for 30 years instead of the 2 quarterbacks were the reason. And the last one, you betrayed him because he's the best I've ever seen before Mahomes. Like, you just simply didn't do enough to support him. So at the very end, if you've made a terrible mistake to upset him because the Bucs are asking Tom Brady, hey, is it okay to draft Trask, but you don't want to do any of that. Now he's holding out and making the first public mess of his career, and he did not want that fan base turning against him. Get Julio Jones if you think you're going to lose him this season, because it's the only way that I can see from where I'm standing that you might get him to come back. Oh, you're actually going to finally try to get me somebody. Maybe he's done anyway, but to me, by getting you mortgage the future, you mortgage to get the help for Aaron Rodgers that maybe gets him to stay, because then you settle and your new quarterback still has Julio bleeping Jones.
Not if you think or know that he's not coming back yet, though.
But I'm saying
then
this is the only way.
That salary,
this is the only way he would. Is I'm saying at this point, you've arrived here, Chris. What's a better incentive? Hey, one of the greatest extraterrestrials in the history of the game. The Packers actually don't care. They just told you they're ready for Aaron Rodgers to leave.
That's kind of what it is, Dan. That's what I was going to answer. I mean, you're right about everything. I was talking about this with Florio a lot on PFT leading up, to the Julio Jones trade. What's a better way to soothe over the relationship and go, look what we got. Here you go. And maybe it does entice him to stay extra years. But I think like what you're saying is real. Like, I think the writing's on the wall a little bit. I don't know if they want him past this year. I mean, that's what he's looking for. He's not asking for anything like crazy. He's the best player or the MVP of football, and definitely one of the 2 or 3 best players in the game. And he's just going, can I have a little security beyond this year? And I think you're right. I think really what they're telling you is
it's really disrespectful.
We'll
honestly,
see.
Chris, you know how to play that position. Like, it's super disrespectful. And if I were Aaron Rodgers, I would be so pissed at that organization. Do you know how great I am at this? Wait a minute, because you had Favre, you think that this is just a thing that can happen? I'm better than Favre. I've been better than Favre the entirety of our careers. However you love Favre, Grandpa Favre, like, I am top of the food chain, greatest you've ever seen, and I just showed it to you last goddamn season, and you took the ball out of my hands in 4th down at the end of the season, and you want me to keep coming back to this bullshit as LeBron James runs his sport. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, that's why you're my motherfucker right there. I agree, okay? 100%. I mean, yeah, I think like it to me is one of the most blatant disrespects of great quarterbacks we have ever seen. I think it classifies as that much. And Dan, I'm with you. I've never seen a quarterback better than Aaron Rodgers. He's the greatest quarterback of all time for me. And any stretch of the imagination. I know he hasn't won as many championships as Brady, and Brady's great. But listen, like, if Aaron Rodgers was in New England, trust me, they would have won 6 too. It wouldn't have been a problem. But like, if you go through it and the pantheons of time, he's never been around a real great offensive mind. He's never had a great defense or anything like that that's special. They've never gone in on top tier talent. And you take the great quarterbacks of all time. I mean, hey, I know Brady, at least he still had Gronk and Wes Welker and Randy Moss and Deion Branch and guys like that throughout his career who were difference makers, let alone it was the greatest coach and the best offensive system in the history of football. Peyton Manning had Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has been carrying the franchise for 10 years. They haven't really been a legit Super Bowl contender in the last 6 or 7 years, but we say they're in the Super Bowl window because of one reason, because of the one guy. We just go, whoa, the Packers are the favorites to win in the NFC because of Aaron Rodgers. And yes, they've disrespected him. He's been team-friendly with contracts. He's let them go extra years. He's played at a really high level. And yeah, I think he's come to his wits' end between the Jordan Love thing And then he sees Brady and he's going, holy cow, the guy's had everything. And now he's on an all-star team and they're still going all in and trying to find more players for him. And he's going, what the hell? Can I just get a dog get a bone? So I'm with you. I can rant about this all day long.
White guys. White.
Couple of motherfuckers cutting it up. How about that?
I have to call Chris Sims out on this. We all had the same reaction. He is too pure, too pristine, son of his father, proper, and we were all jarred. And I think he was, given the way that he said it, stiffly and starched, "You're my motherfucker."
Dan, I gotta disagree. Chris Sims might have the biggest potty mouth in all of sports media.
Yes. And by the way, his
That's
dad.
right, Jessica. Set him straight.
Yep. And his dad was on the podcast. They were on together, and Phil kept threatening to punch Chris in the face. I mean, he's a badass.
I understand that he might be a cursor. I'm saying in that spot, it didn't come out like he was much of a cursor. I think he was in that space between I'm professional and I can work blue, may I? And am I wrong about this? I thought, please cut it up for me. I just want Chris to hear before he leaves what he sounded like when he said that.
I think he nailed it. I really
Okay.
did.
No, I wasn't sure if I could swear on this show right now. I wasn't sure. So I waited for you. But Jessica's right. If you listen to my podcast, well, we bleep out more fucks and shits than just about any podcast out there. So we're pretty good at
All
that.
right, let's do that as the advertising for this podcast of his. We bleep out more fucks and shits than any podcast out there.
That should be the name of it.
Well, it is the name of it. Chris Sims Unbuttoned. It is the name of it. That's the name of it. And that should be the subtitle. We bleep out more fucks and shits than anybody.
But
I
we all
like
know
it.
that top button, Chris. It's never been unbuttoned.
Oh, no. But, when I get on that podcast, I unbutton my mouth, and that's where that comes from. So
All right.
that's where it's good. It's a play on words.
Chris, I need your help here going forward. We're a little weak on football, and Greg Cody is an expert allegedly, but you're actually better at this than most people I've heard just generally. And so we're going to be calling on your expertise over the course of the season if you would be kind enough to lend it to us. But the actual particulars, as somebody, because you've been interested in journalism before, or just how people are covered, the journalism and what happened with Aaron Rodgers on draft day, I took it as, and I don't know how that story was reported or broken, but Adam Schefter says it was an amalgamation of things that led to reporting it on that day. And he took the hit for that being an Adam Schefter production. But when it came out on draft day, I really did think as it happened, well, who benefits from leaking this way now? I really thought it was a spiteful Aaron Rodgers, and he can be spiteful. However it is that happened, telling everybody what the Packers did to me on my draft day here a year later, because he's the guy who was interviewed, right, when he wasn't taken by the 49ers and said, I'll make them regret this. I will remember this, and I will haunt them for not taking me out of California. I really got the impression that was an act of spite from somewhere in the Rodgers camp. Oh, you guys are going to do that to me with Jordan Love on draft day? All right, watch this. Watch what I do to you and everybody on draft day, because I haven't been properly supported around here.
I think so, to a degree, let alone you have to take into account, I think, the circumstances at the time, which he was aware that the 49ers were calling the Packers to make the trade, and he wanted it to happen. So I think there's been reports out there that he had let the organization know, his wanting to be traded and be out of there if they weren't going to commit to him and do those type of things. So I think it just got to the 12 o'clock hour there. And I think between the circumstances at that point and what you're talking about, I think, they just finally said, okay, that's it. We got to go scorched earth here a little bit. To me, what I don't understand is if he really wanted out and really wanted to be aggressive, why didn't he just let it be known from the start? And then you could have been in late February, early March. You could have had really teams who haven't framed their team yet at the quarterback position really try to approach you and get you in a trade or something like that. That's the one part from his angle I don't quite understand.
Chris, should the Dolphins be concerned that Tua admitted to not knowing the playbook last year?
I like it in a lot of ways. The fact that he's able to have that accountability and be like, no, I wasn't good enough, all those things. Do I think his $1 million smile and great charm kind of swept it under the radar, where I think if other rookie quarterbacks would have said it, everybody would be like, whoa, He didn't know the offense. What the hell is that and all that? Yeah, to a degree. But I do think it's going to give him respect in the locker room because those guys know that he wasn't as good or up to speed where he is. So if he goes on TV and lies and says stuff like that, yeah, he's not going to get any street cred in the locker room. I think I think it really ultimately will be a good thing for him within the organization. But now all of people like us are going to be really watching to make sure he's on top of his game in that department.
The admission is not as interesting to me as whether you know through expertise how alarming that actually is, because he had time. I don't know. You tell me.
Well, COVID, like there was no mini camps. There was no.
You tell me, how alarmed should I be by not the admission of it, Chris? Is he admitting retention's a problem, or is it a normal thing for a young quarterback? And we're playing him earlier than we ever have.
It is like a normal thing. There's no doubt, but there was notable lack of offense. Lack of knowing where to go with the ball at certain points when you compared him to Ryan Fitzpatrick that you don't like, certainly. I mean, you don't want to hear that from your starting quarterback that he wasn't on every detail, rookie or not. Justin Herbert was okay, right? You don't hear any of those reports out of there. He started a few weeks earlier in front of Tua. So, again, I don't think it's a game breaker, but Tua's got to improve as a football player. He's not going to wow us with laser throws and just being an incredible athlete. He's going to manage games, make plays here and there, and he's got to become a more aggressive thinker and thrower of the football, Dan, too. That's another thing that really just pops out to me. I could show you games where wait, here's Tua running this play 5 times, and then here's later in the game they brought in Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's the same play, it's the same coverage, but the result is much greater because of whether it was his knowledge of the offense, experience, but a more aggressive frame of mind and knowing what NFL open is and what NFL covered is. And that's where Tua's got to improve. He's been spoiled. Alabama was wide open. Everything was easy. And it's just not going to be that way in the NFL. And I'm interested to see where his game goes because I do think they were interested in Deshaun Watson before all that stuff went down.
For those of you listening who don't understand what the expertise is that we're talking to, because he told us, hey, guys, Lamar Jackson's, he's the best one in this draft. It's not particularly close. I think he might have told us the same thing on Mahomes. I'm not sure.
I did. Yeah.
So what is it coming in terms of analysis for what you're watching? Because all of us were talking for so long about Tua. Well, is it the lack of playmakers? Is it the lack of offensive line? And now he adds to the mix. And also retention was a problem last year. Chris, based on the analysis you're willing to make on really thorough research of this, it sounds like you're willing to call it. Herbert's going to be better. That sounds
no doubt.
Like that, but it sounds like you're ready. Look, we have enough information the first year. You do not have to worry about this. The worries about Tua, yes, you can say it's offense. He doesn't have the receivers. Yes, you can say Herbert has much better receivers there, but you're willing to call it. That we don't have to wait 3 years for this. One of them can really, really play, and the other one might be able to.
Right, exactly right. I'm ready to call it. I liked Herbert more than Tua coming out in the draft. I got a lot of heat about that. And again, we've had these conversations. People look at the bottom line too much, wins and losses and stats. And I'd go, well, damn, you can put a lot of quarterbacks up in Oregon and it's not going to look that great statistically or anything like that. Don't blame Justin Herbert. But to answer your question, yes, I don't need any more. I'm rooting for Tua. I'm not anti-Tua. I hope he does better. But, no, his ceiling, his ultimate potential can never be as great as Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert could be a top 5, a top 3 quarterback for the next 10, 12, 15 years. He's already in the top 10 caliber type of player. So, yes, I've seen enough to know that I don't think Tua is ever going to be capable of being a top 5 quarterback. That's why I didn't think he should be a top 10 pick. And there are things that concern me. There's no doubt. There's no elite part of his game that I can look at and go, that's special. There's a lot of good and, a lot of things to like about his leadership and charisma and all that. But I don't see that one thing that I just go, ooh, he's got that. And they can frame the whole offense around that and be a lot better.
All right, we've established how great you are at this, especially with the quarterback. So, of this rookie class, who is going to be the best quarterback according to Chris Sims?
You know that I'm Zach Wilson.
Oh,
I am,
shit.
and again, it's not an indictment
You're
on
my
Trevor
motherfucker.
Lawrence because I really like him. But like I look at Zach Wilson and think he's got Rodgers and the Holmes-ish type ability. You know, just again, he's a pure passer. He can stand in the pocket, make any throw you want. But you guys know you're watching football this day and age. Unless you have the best offensive line in football, you're going to be moving and sliding and throwing balls sidearm. And I got to get out of the pocket and extend a play and make a play that way. And that's where I look at Zach Wilson and just go, oh, he can do special stuff. Oh, nobody's open? Don't worry. He'll dance around like Rodgers and Mahomes, and he'll find somebody, and he'll look over here and then throw a 30-yard laser over there. You know, and to me, that's the modern-day NFL, unless you have an incredible support system around you. And that's why I expect him to be big time.
Stugotz, were you setting up Chris Sims to say Zach Wilson, or did you just forget the way
Yes,
he
he
answered it on
was.
Stupidity?
I was setting it up.
I have to go back and revisit something that happened here because I think we all flinched the same way. Maybe we didn't. Maybe you guys all knew that Sims, look, you have to understand the family tree in the Sims family. It's Phil Sims to him. They have been upright professionals across football and broadcasting for a long time. So it is legitimately jarring for him to breathe a motherfucker in my face. Like I was not in any way expecting it because he's a pillar of professionalism.
You don't know Chris very well. Listen to the podcast.
Agreed.
He's very comfortable saying motherfucker.
I know that's why
Yeah.
Chris Sims Unbuttoned is something that you should listen to because when he's been around here and on television, he is very buttoned. It's Chris Sims super button, like his dad before him, buttoned to the buttons of the top of buttons. But this is Chris Sims Unbuttoned. And so this moment happened earlier, but because he didn't know where he was between the two worlds. This is Dan Le Batard Show, and am I serious and is it mainstream and what? The motherfucker came out constipated. And so you're telling me he's an accomplished cursor, and I'm telling you, we burst this earlier together.
Yeah, that's why you're my motherfucker right there.
I like it. I mean,
I know you like it, but it was the height of this, was it not? Yes or no? Am I wrong about this? Play it again just so I can hear it. It's like hearing it from a starched shirt at the dry cleaners.
Yeah, that's why you're my motherfucker right there.
You sounded scared. You sounded scared to be my motherfucker.
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't the same intensity. I wasn't sure. And I don't know if I sound as much. I think also, you're just looking at me and you're judging a book by its cover a little bit. You're like, oh, there's Johnny, white guy with the hair combed over and he's all buttoned up. And what I want to go is hey, fuck you. I'm from Jersey. You don't fucking know what I'm all about.
All right,
That's
so
what I
then,
wanna
so are you or are you not my motherfucker? Are you or
But-
are you not my
But,
motherfucker?
dude, my motherfucker until the day we die.
Okay.
You are my mofo.
No,
100%.
day we die, like you have Kyle Shanahan's, initials tattooed on each other, like motherfuckers like that. Like, can we escalate to this to a point where you and I are such motherfuckers that I'm tattooing your initials into my body and you're tattooing mine into yours because we're motherfuckers like that, motherfuckers.
Well, we're not to that type of motherfucker status yet, okay? But
wow,
we can work on it.
disappointing.
We're
Okay,
still
it is
early in our
disappointing.
relationship here.
I want to be motherfuckers like that. Okay.
We can do it. We can do it though. Again, I come down there and visit you from time to time and become a regular. We have some good times, throw some beers back, become best buddies. That could be a possibility.
Excellent.
How about
Very
me and
excited.
you,
Very
Sims?
excited.
Let's start with me and you.
No fucking chance am I ever getting anything of you on my body. No chance.
All right, can we talk Notre Dame football now, Chris?
No.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Go away.